Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is June 27th. And so let's get started with our reading and see what it sparks in us. Here we go. Reading for June 27th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 468, paragraph 1, through page 469, paragraph 3, using inclusive language. The Father's house always open. And so the Son found everything in the Father's house just as he had left it. Nothing had changed, and he was made welcome to all the divine stores. But he had to return to find joy and peace forevermore. How wonderful is reality! While he may have seemed to be away from it, it has ever remained the same and is ever ready to reveal itself to us. All we have to do is to go halfway, that is, turn to it and it will turn to us. The truth known is instantly demonstrated, for the truth is changeless reality and cannot come and go. No matter how long we may have been away from reality in our thought, it is always here, ready to spring full-orbed into expression. No matter how long a room may have been darkened, the entrance of light instantly illuminates it. What becomes of the darkness when the light enters? Where did it come from and where does it go? It is difficult to comprehend such an infinite possibility as an instantaneous reconciliation with the universe. We demonstrate this only in degrees because our consciousness is not yet fitted to perceive the wholeness of complete perfection. The stay-at-home son. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called out to the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore his father came out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I may make merry with my friends. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. How human the stay-at-home son was, and what a theological attitude he took in regard to his younger brother. He had not entered himself, and he was not willing that anyone else should enter. His real attitude was that God should condemn everything that he himself did not like or believe. He was puffed up with self-righteousness and personal conceit, filled with pity, vanity, and fuming with anger over his brother's welcome home. I expect that we meet him in ourselves nearly every day, in our personal experiences with other people, in our intolerant attitude and uncharitableness towards others who do not think as we do. But God knows as little about self-righteousness as it knows about evil, for both are false. Therefore, he said unto the elder son, Thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. This implies that the elder son had missed the mark as well as the younger, for he had been living in the midst of plenty and had not recognized it. He needed but to ask, and he would have received all that the father had. Both sons were foolish, but it is a question which was the more completely deluded. The application of the story. To bring the story down to our own experience, for it is a lesson for everyone for all time, We live in the midst of eternal good, but it can only be to us what we believe it to be. We are at the mouth of the river, but we must let down our own buckets if we wish to be filled with the pure waters of reality. We are surrounded by a spirit of living intelligence and eternal givingness, love, goodness, and power that wishes to express itself through us. There is a divine urge within, ever pushing us forward to the goal. We are also surrounded by an immutable law of cause and effect, and because of our divine individuality and the necessity of experience in order to come to a realization of what and who we are subject to the causes which we have set in motion. All is love, and yet all is law. Both love and law are perfect, and we, as individuals, can experience only what we really believe and act upon. I think the story of the prodigal son is one of my favorite because it is so applicable um, in so many ways. Um, it teaches us that when we ask, we receive. Um, and then whatever we choose to do with what we receive, we experience the direct outcome of those choices from our actions. And yet, what created us doesn't kick us to the curb, no matter what we choose. That's the activity of grace. That love is always present, no matter what we choose. That nothing has gone wrong, even when it looks like everything has gone wrong. Um, and that's the discernment between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. I love the references to when the prodigal son returned, he returned to a home where nothing had changed. And the lesson in that is not about a physical home where no furniture was rearranged. It's referring to the home of our eternal home, if you will. Infinite mind, absolute reality, consciousness itself. That it is changeless because there's nothing for it to change into because it already is everything. And so we do what we do and are never separate from it. We can distance ourselves by our choices, by our mental processes, and yet we are never separate from what is. Because that's all there is. There's no place to separate to. And I love that the story includes a son that stayed at home, pointing out that our choices separate us from our experience of divinity. We don't have to like leave and go away. We can stay right in the midst of it and still never experience it because we shut ourselves off from it. Our attitude, when we choose an attitude of defensiveness, it's because we're living in fear, and defensiveness is a counterattack. And so we're constantly doing battle, whether we mean to or not. Right? And all of that is a belief in something against us. Now, let me just put this in real nuts and bolts human terms right now. As a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, there is a lot happening in this physical realm that feels, can feel very threatening. There's activity trying to strip away human rights from people. Um, and that can be quite scary. And we are each a choice to remember that there is a power greater than politicians, that there is a power greater than ministers, there is a power greater than fundamental misuse of Christianity, that those things in and of themselves are just people expressing. And that ultimately, and I'll use myself, I am sustained by a power that is the power of life. Can that control what other people do? No. No, it cannot. It does not, because we are all free to choose. But what it does do is remind me that if I claim my birthright, then no matter what happens, all is well. And I know a lot of people think I'm nuts for thinking that way. I know this because they tell me. They make up all kinds of stories that I'm in denial or I'm this or I'm that. What I really am is going deeply into the absolute. What I'm really doing is looking beyond the physical to the truth of my being, which allows me to know the truth of your being. And when I know that, I can remember that even in the midst of what feels like chaos, what feels like an attack, what feels like something is going wrong, to remember that it's not. For me, I don't get to say life is unfolding perfectly and then change that when life unfolds in a way that I don't like. Either life is unfolding perfectly or it's not. Um, and I can point to those times in my life where it looked like the wheels were falling off, and it turned out to be for my good. I couldn't see that in the middle of it, and it didn't change that it was. And so I think our invitation today is to find ourselves in this story of the prodigal son. Are we the son that left home? Are we the son that stayed home? Where are we in the story? And sometimes we're a little bit of both. What I know is that home is always open. That, where this started, the Father's house, always open. Life is always open. Consciousness is always open. We are it, and it's simply waiting for us to recognize that. And as soon as we do, it becomes more accessible to us. So we'll take that into our time of meditation and contemplation. Breathing the breath of life, the breath of life breathing me. Recognizing that there is only one breath. It is the breath of life. It fills the lungs. It is the air. It is the atmosphere of the cosmos. One substance out of which everything is made. And by made, I am simply recognizing that it is this one substance expressing itself in the multiplicity of form. Holding an idea, holding a mental image of what it wants to experience, and the activity of itself making it so. And so being made out of it, by it, I must be it. And yet I am never, as an individualization of it, all of it. And yet all of it is fully present in me. No separation. Only one whole, perfect, and complete body. I am an individualized cell, a specialized cell within the one body of creation. This one has many, many names, and yet it's unnameable because it can never be confined or restricted by one single concept. So in this moment, I simply recognize it is every name and no name. It is the defined and the indefinable, the seen and the unseen. And I remember once again that I am that. Allow the reality of that to permeate my being. I allow myself to feel the magnitude of that. That this very life I'm living is a mental equivalent within the mind of creation. A holy complete desire of consciousness to live, move, and have its being as this individualization of me. Holy wow. I'm a portal of its expression. And so what is available to me is simply that, all. So I affirm that my mental equivalent is in alignment with the mental equivalent of divinity. That beyond recognizing that the house is always open, that I take ownership of my room in the house, that I move in lock, stock, and barrel. That I claim my birthright. That I claim my birthright of peace, of joy, of infinite intelligence, of the harmonious operation of one, of absolute abundance. I claim it all. And then I practice good stewardship. I simply affirm living the life I came here to live, being all that I came here to be. And what I claim for myself, I claim for the whole body. I claim that celebration, that there is room in the house for everyone. There is room in the body for every cell. I affirm that I embrace all today, all expressions of life. That I honor the power of choice by consciously, intentionally choosing. I practice grace by honoring every choice made. And I remind myself over and over again that no matter what it looks like on the outside, life is unfolding perfectly. And all is well because that is all it can be. And I celebrate as I feel the shift in my body from realization to gratitude. I recognize it is the law of fulfillment, that doer within the creative process that just receives and makes it so. With no delay, with no judgment, with no second thought, with no thought at all. It simply acts. And always, always in the affirmative yes. So I know that it is already done, and the only thing that even appears to be a delay is the time in this physical realm that it takes me to recognize how law already made it so. And so I step into this day with my ears and my eyes and my mind and my heart wide open, with all of my spidey senses awakened to see every nudge, every clue, every presentation that it is complete. I see it, I claim it, I move toward it. I truly let it be instant. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste. Bye.